No, there's no other options. You can try all you like. Now, this was written as a song, so I'm not going to give you the chorus 3 times, so I'll start with the chorus and we'll get it out of the way, but you can think of it as the chorus. Brussels sprouts are evil. And I hate them with a passion, like rap and ads and chalkboard and the 1% and fashion. They're the epitome of ghastly, and I hate them to the core. So please don't serve them to me, because I'll drop them on the floor. The humble Brussels sprout, it seems, are humble for a reason. You have to wait all bloody year before they come in season, but when they do, it's perfect. And the timing's astronomic as they aid the full production of your garden, gastronomic. Take a rubber band or bungee, make a pouch to suit their size, and your concentrated cabbages transform before your eyes. Not a thing of dread and horror, not a throat lock anymore, but a thing of stunning beauty for its shapeliness and bore. It takes the crows from in the walnuts, knocks the cabbage white for 6, and the neighbours' cats are wary, or more truly, shitting bricks. But apart from oil-drenched fireballs, and apart from aerial charm, they allow you to place compost in remote bits of the farm. Is it cynical enough for you? Okay, this is a granny poem. For those of you who know granny poems, granny is a mixture. Is a mixture of all of those magnificent women in the world, and Mary, who's here, is actually modelled to the start of the thing, and so Granny was actually born here under Mary's sort of. I could.
So she very sweet.
Yes, she was sweet and nurtured Granny, and Granny came sort of from here, but. She's also a mixture of all the people that I meet that are really strong women. Oh, geez, there are a lot of them out there. It's a surprise. So this is called Granny's Joy Ride. Granny went to see her cousin up in Algiers. He lived up a couple of sections from the sea, and after working rather hard throughout his lifetime, her cuz had quite some spark for 93. He was getting past his prime, in all dimensions. He would limp if walking more than half a mile. But the day his daughter built the cable railway was the day the stony codger cracked a smile. Now, the genes of Granny's brilliance skips the males. All the women in her tree are of a type. While the men lack all the vision but can sail around in boats, all the girls can rule the roost without the hype. So his daughter, Jeanette, as a special, got along with Gran. They would have a cider sitting on the deck. She would stun her with her artistry and silverwork and stone. And a piece of K2 hanging round her neck. So Granny talked to her of sizing and of scale and of loads, and they sat and sipped and giggled through the night. Then old Gran jumped in a wagon for a round trip to the farm, and she came back with the gear to do it right. First, the 4 big lithium batteries and the oxy tank as well, so the power was sufficient for the task. And the diesel concrete cutter and her forge with turbo fans with leather gloves and tinted welding bars. Well, she gave these to our Janet, who was instantly engaged, and they cut up lots of I-beams that she had from her father, who had scored them from the Navy for a song, and for once his constant hoarding made her glad. So that night they went out raiding, The recycles were on the curb with a gift of all the plastic they could use, and Jeanette made up a moulding for her cogwheels and a belt. Then she smelted her components from refuse. Next, she got the concrete cutter and sliced out a piece of drive, then a channel down the walkway to the Strand. With a rail joined on to eye-clamps, she cemented down the trench, and her plastic gearing hummed, just like she'd planned. Next, she built a little shelter for the batteries by the house, and she hooked these to voltaics on the top. Then a drive shaft drove the cogs, positioned all along the track, and a handbrake for the dolly made it stop. So, her cousin, in his dotage, could get activity every day. When the tide was low, he went down to the beach, where he searched for buried treasure with his combing bag in hand, and the wonders of his playground stayed in reach. But Jeanette was quite a wild lass, and my gran and she would play. When the tide was right, up lapping on the weir, they would each take turns to ride it and neglect to use the brake. And the flying made them grin from ear to ear. Remember